You're listening to Straight Outta Motherhood Mom Humour Podcast, featured weekly on their local radio show, The Motherhood Radio, KAKU 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui, broadcasting out of the south end of Maui, Hawaii. Here's your hosts, Ali B and Sarah Rodriguez.
What's up, all you straight out of momhood?
Hola! Thanks again for tuning in to our second episode of Straight Outta Motherhood.
I know, but back on popular demand, of course, because all you moms out there really wanted to hear more.
Yeah.
More of the juicy, dirty stuff.
Exactly, the stuff that we can't talk about on community TV.
Yeah, or community radio.
Radio.
Yeah, community TV or radio.
Yeah, which we do TV too.
Yeah, so we're on both of those places.
Exactly.
So, of course, we like to put the sense of humor in your parenting duties every day. And
because we know you need it.
This week, we're talking a little bit about, well, what were we just talking about?
Well, we were just talking, actually, we were kind of like reminiscing about our story.
Yeah.
Because just last week, we got invited by actually a guest from us, Lona, what is it?
It's Nova Luna
Centers,
yeah.
Which is a center for eating disorders.
Yep.
But they were doing a storytelling slam at a local coffee shop and asked us to tell our story of kind of depression and self-doubt and kind of our story of how we met with each other and pretty much Allie birthed the motherhood, and I was almost kind of like her doula.
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. It's kind of true. Like, we knew that there was a place where we didn't have a place, I think, us moms.
I think,
I think especially for our niche, because I think that, like, we deal with so much specialized stuff every day. Like, exactly. I'm going to train my kid to be organic, or my kid's autistic, or my kid has ADHD, or my kid has a behavioral issue, and we're always focusing on those. Mm-hmm. But what about, like, the laughable parts about it? Because
it's ridiculous. Motherhood is so ridiculous. You have to laugh so you don't cry.
Right.
You have to be a little lighthearted about this or you're going to lose it.
Exactly.
I know I've lost it several times.
And we need to have a place where there's, like, no judgment zone.
Exactly. Like, moms just coming together and being like, this shit's hard.
Yeah, right?
Can we please laugh about how hard this shit is? And complain about it and vent to each other so we just get it out.
Right. Instead of just standing around at school judging each other from a step away, like,
exactly. And realize, like we're all the same. Yeah. We're all in the same boat together.
And so no matter what our dynamic is, whether or not we're a single parent, or we're a married parent, or we're a widow, or we're a grandparent raising a kid, or a stepmom, or an adopted mom, we're all in the same boat. We're just doing it slightly different. You know? And so we can't judge each other.
No, we're all just trying to maneuver.
Yeah. And that's why I think that we felt that there was a good niche for this.
It was. Especially for us. Like, I know, like, how, like, this radio program has just changed my life.
Yeah.
Like, originally, we should talk about our story, actually. Like, so I had a really bad time with postpartum, like horrible. At this time, I was, have a baby, a 6-month-old, so I decided to do a show to kind of, because I was feeling super isolated, and I was like, can I use my passion into turning something into something, like, it's hard to explain it, like turning something into, I'm losing my words.
Turning, I mean, like, I know what you mean. It's like, you felt like a little bit of a rumble in there. Like,
exactly.
You knew you had a purpose, but it's just trying to, like,
let it out. Yeah.
Let it out.
In a creative kind of way. Yeah. So I started a show called Mother Maui TV. And it was pretty much a show to poke fun at motherhood and to try to get other moms involved in my show because I was so lonely. I was so isolated and lonely. And that's kind of like,
I mean, that's
similar.
Pretty much same thing. Like, I fully had postpartum depression, anxiety. I didn't really believe in myself that much. I kind of was, like, on this mission to start just changing my life all of a sudden. And, I got this opportunity to come up with a radio program. And I was like, there's no place for moms, like, legit places for moms to listen to stuff that we could just leave where we feel a little bit better about our situation and not like, I gotta go home and do my homework. I need to read this book.
Exactly.
Mean, like, a place where we can just kind of talk about it. So, I mean, that's kind of like where I started out trying to, and I mean, I didn't know anything about radio when
neither one of us had done radio or I've never even had an interest in radio, like, whatsoever. Yeah. So it's so crazy when you approached me, or actually a mutual friend.
And that's what I was going to say. Like, we had this guy named Joel. Big shout out to Joel out there. He was like, Allie, you know, have you met this girl? Like, she's got this TV show on YouTube. And so he made me watch the first episode, and I was like, I love her, but she's so much smarter than me. There goes my self-doubt again. So, but he set up a meeting. Like, he did not let me out of, like, sight. He was like, I'm calling her. She's coming down here right now.
He knew it. And we did. We met and we clicked right away. I was like, oh my God, like something was like, this feels right. This feels good. I clicked with her. She was hilarious.
And then I got too scared.
And then she, we part ways, and she's like, I'll call you. And then she never called me. So I'm like, she doesn't like me.
Right?
She didn't think I was funny.
No, it was totally me going, oh my God, she's so much better than me. She probably thought it was weird. Yeah, and I was like,
there goes
maybe
that
it needs
self-doubt.
to be better before I call her. I don't know. But, you know, it all works.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, that's the thing about parenthood. We didn't know what we were walking into when we got pregnant. I mean, they give you a little book or whatever, but you're like, you're walking into blind.
You really are.
And so that's life. Like, you can really do whatever you want to do if you just start walking into it.
Just take that first step.
Yeah.
Take that first step.
That's hard for moms, you know?
It's so hard. Yeah.
It is.
Especially when we put ourselves on the back burner.
Right.
You know?
I know. Well, because it's like, oh, I have to take care of my kids and I have these
Yeah.
responsibilities.
I would be selfish if I were to do something for myself over doing something for my children. And no, moms, it's actually the opposite. You got to lift yourself up and be the best that you can be so you can be the best mom.
Right. I don't understand why we always said that. Like, now, you know, you can have passions, but you need to focus on taking care of your family.
Right.
And like, we always tell like young aspiring people, like, you need to stay focused. It's like musicians or something. Like, they want to be in the recording studio every day, and we're like, you know what? You need to stay focused on your regular life. But you can't do things with your life if you don't step out of your comfort zone.
You have to.
So
I always think it's like your dreams are just like right on the other side of fear.
Right.
Right. You just have to get over that barrier of fear, and then it's like, oh my gosh.
Right. You
Oh,
gotta
this has
get
been
a little...
waiting for me. Oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah, and it really is like it's throwing yourself into like your biggest fear. It's like public speaking. It wasn't until like I had to stand up there with a mic while everyone was staring at me to get past that.
Right? But then once you did, didn't you feel almost like just like bigger than human? Just
you
like,
know,
I did.
And it was because I wanted to do comedy so bad, but that was my biggest fear, was standing up there with the mic. Now I've done that. Now I'm just like, well, I better not suck. I just better be funny that day.
Exactly. And you are every time. You get better and better every single time.
Right.
And that was such a terrifying thing at first. So,
I know, right?
So mamas, that's one thing that we want to like really showcase on our show is like, do what you want to do.
Right, exactly.
Take that step.
And you know, one topic that we wanted to talk about was co-parenting on this episode, because a lot of people are co-parenting. More and more people. I mean, back in the 50s or whatever, people didn't get divorced. You know, you stayed together, whatever. If it sucked, it sucked. I mean, you know, it was rough. And then we've moved into a time now where people, they become together and they separate for whatever reason. And so they're co-parenting, or they're parenting in their home, and their co-parent is parenting in their home, and they're doing the baby shuffle.
Exactly.
And
the
it's
baby
a normal
shuffle.
thing.
And it's a normal thing. But it doesn't mean that it's hard.
No, that it's
easy.
not hard. Yeah, you know. And so there's different types of, I think, co-parenting. Like, we have a situation like you where you're not together and you're co-parenting, and you're two singles.
Yes.
And then you have co-parenting where maybe one person has a partner, and the other doesn't.
Right, which that totally can take you
Or what
forward.
if you both have new partners and then you're co-parenting, and then you have 4 people parenting?
It's
I don't
a
know
lot.
how you
It's a
feel
lot to
about
go.
that. Like, I mean, as a mom, like, okay, if your ex were to get in a relationship tomorrow, and this girl came up to you and was like, hey, Sarah, you know, I'm with your ex, and so we're going to be together. I just want to get to know you because I'm going to be around your daughter. What kind of sandwiches does she like? What's her favorite color?
Whoa.
Would you feel...
That would be intense. I think so. I want to start off with like me and my ex, who I co-parented with. We made a deal, actually. We discussed this, which I think is so important, and it laid our foundation. We talked about how if we were going to bring somebody else in the mix, that we would tell each other like first and make sure it's a serious thing.
Right.
You know, like, is this somebody that's like fling? Do you really think do you really see yourself with this person? And if the other person's like, yes, this is somebody that's very important, then it's like, okay, let's discuss, let's bring this person in. Let's all discuss it. And then for your child to know too that it's okay. that this other person coming in, that they're not like, being bad to their dad for liking the new guy coming in, you know? So I just think like discussing it like is key. But what was the question? If a girl came up to you, so let's say my ex finds a girlfriend and we discussed it, then by all means I would be like, awesome. If she came to me and was like, I'm in the mix now, like what can I do to like, just discuss how we could all co-parent together in a very healthy kind of way, like I think that's great.
I mean, because it is scary. Like, scary. I'm married now, but I do have a child that I have an ex, and I attempted to co-parent with him. And the first time that I met the new chick, like, I really didn't like her, but like I kept trying to think in the back of my mind, like this person is going to be around my daughter.
Which is tough, yeah.
But I've also been in a situation where I was a girlfriend of a guy. We were co-parenting his kids with his ex, and I was just the girlfriend.
So how do you feel about that? How was it? Was she like nice, or was she awful to you?
No, I mean at the time, like we had no bad relationship, but I was the one taking care of the kids all the time.
Oh.
No one else was.
Yeah.
So she kind of had to deal with me, but she would make it hard. She'd be like, I'm not talking to you if she's there, and I have to feel removed, even though I was doing the brunt of the work. But so then it made me look at it differently when I was in the situation where I was now the parent.
Right.
And it made me say, okay, this person's going to be around my kid.
Right,
and
let's
it made
make
me a
nice.
different person, Because you do want to make it comfortable for your kid.
Exactly. And it's
you
already
be,
a
like,
sticky situation. Yeah, it's already an uncomfortable situation for everybody. Everybody doesn't know how to act or find their boundaries yet. And I think just like...
What about PDA? Around your kid, like, because I don't know if I wanted my ex making out or nothing with this girlfriend.
I actually was just in this position just a little while ago because I started seeing a guy for a little bit, and I thought that it was going to be turning into we're not together anymore, but I thought it was going to be a little bit more serious than it ended up being. So we dated for a bit, and then I introduced Coco to him. And I was really, actually, I don't like PDA when it comes to like another person coming in, and she was very uncomfortable with it too. Like she was okay with like the cuddles and like the hugs, but like more of like, I don't know, touching, caressing, like more of like romantic, not just like cutesy cuddling. She was uncomfortable with it, and I was uncomfortable. But everybody was uncomfortable with it. But I don't know. I don't know if that's right or wrong to be uncomfortable. I don't know. I guess
like some people would say like, oh no, you want your kid to see affection or whatever. But I was with you. Like I didn't like hug or kiss like by my kid.
It was like affection was okay, but when it came a little bit more sexual,
was a little boundary.
Exactly. And when it came a bit sexual, when the hand was a little bit lower, it was like whoa. I don't feel comfortable being sexualized in front of my daughter.
Right. And I think also for women that especially have
a daughter. Exactly.
Right? We don't. If you're a mom out there and you're dating and like a guy comes around and he starts to try to be sexy by you with your kid in the room and your kid sees it. I think my biggest thing that switched on my head when I was in the situation is he priming my kid? Because I think, are you trying to do this in front of my kid so my kid doesn't think it's weird? So then if you do it to her, you go, well, I did it to mom.
That is such a big...
And I was so cringy about that. And so like I got super sketched out like a couple of times. I got really weirded out and I was like, no, you can't be by my daughter, I did try to be that. I guess I was that night mistress chick. I was like, you can come over late.
Yeah, exactly. I was kind of like that too. It was like the weekends when I didn't really want to bring guys around, my daughter. So on the weekends when I didn't have her, that's when I would go hang out with the guys I want to hang out with.
Right. And if you don't have like where you can't like give your kid to someone, like call your friend.
Exactly. Be like, I haven't had a date in forever. I'm sure your friend's gonna be like, girl, I know.
And your friend's gonna be totally down to come over to your house and drink some wine, like hang out at your house. Well, they don't have to go to their house, right?
Exactly.
Most friends, and that's what friends do. That's what my friends did for me when I met my husband. I would just kind of be like, all right, I'm going out. And then I would go like meet him. Yeah. Like on the beach or something. Well, because, we live in Maui. So
yeah, exactly.
We can, like meet on a beach or something.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. But, you know, and then sometimes people don't have a good parenting situation, like co-parenting situation.
Exactly. Like, sometimes you're co-parenting with somebody that's a bad person to co-parent with, and that's tough. I think both parties have to really, really want to make it work.
Right.
And be on the same page, or else it's going to fall apart.
What were some of the things that you did? Like for me, like I was like, listen, I want to set this in stone. Like you're going to have her on this day and this day, and it like fell apart.
Well, for his work schedule, like he's all over the place. So we actually made a deal where he was like, I feel like somebody should be stable at home. Yeah. So we kind of have the dynamic of still like a family where he is the financial provider and I am the caretaker. Yeah. You know? So it's definitely a different situation for us.
Right.
But it works for us, and that's all that matters. Like your dynamic can be completely different, and it's okay if nobody understands it, but if it works for your family, that's all that matters. Because I get so much judgment, and people are always asking me, what's going on, blah, 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 and it doesn't matter. Like, I'm happy, my child is happy, her father is happy, we're doing great, and it doesn't matter what our dynamic is, as long as it's strong and it works.
Yeah, and you know, like I read this article, I think it was like about a year ago, and it was called Why I Bought My Ex-Wife Flowers on Mother's Day. And it was about this guy who his buddies were the same thing. You know, why are you shining your ex with this and that? And he like went on to say, you know, this is the mother of my child. Like we have this bond. We created these people together. And like just because we're not together anymore doesn't mean that I can't show her that my appreciation for her being a mom.
And that's so good for the kid to see.
Right.
Like that's how my ex is. He still is so nice to me and like does a great amazing things for me, and my daughter sees that. My daughter sees how still she should be treated for men, even if they're not in a romantic situation. You still demand respect from men, and I love that he's teaching her men respect women.
Not only not only that men respect women, but that you have. I mean, I have two healthy. My parents have been awesome parents to me. No, they weren't together, but they raised me. They were friends. Like we have great memories, and like I think that's super cool. Yeah. I did have a friend growing up that had parents like that. I always thought that was really cool. Yeah. Like my parents didn't get divorced until I was 18. But I surely wish that if they had when I was younger, that they would have been like that. Yeah. Probably would have been better, because in most cases people get divorced and they like hate each other.
Yeah, and it gets like, nasty. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, like we had to find our balance and our boundaries, and it took a minute, and there was some nasty parts of it. But but I think just knowing that like we were both passionate about getting through that is like was really, really important.
And then I think setting up boundaries for the new partners. Like, hi, you know, you are in this dynamic, yes, but you are not
a parent
the parent, and you don't get to make disciplinary decisions. You can continue the rules that I have set, but you can't create new ones. You can't take the ones I got away.
Right.
You know?
Communication. Just communicating about like, okay, now that we're in this all together, let's discuss this as adults. Right. Because we all are adults.
Because some guys will get too into talking about their relationship with you when you're co-parenting, and you're like, this ain't none of my business. Exactly. I don't want nothing to do with you and your girlfriend, Marsha.
Nope,
you know, so... That's going to be kind of tricky.
Yeah, exactly. Don't get the other person involved in your co-parenting relationship. Your co-parenting relationship is that, and your relationships with others are others.
Right.
Don't mix them.
Yeah, they should always be respectful of your ex and always have a good picture. Like, I mean... You know how it was, like, obviously they're exes for a reason, but it's like you can talk shit about your mom.
Yeah,
but you don't want someone else talking shit about your mom. Then you're like, oh, heck no, that's my mom.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I think it should be like that with your exes, too.
I completely agree.
And I think it's better for your kids, because your kids are able to form their own opinions about their parents the older that they get.
Exactly. They don't need you to influence it.
No. You know, I mean, my kid definitely didn't need it.
No.
I mean, she did it all on her own.
For real.
Yep. So I think that's a pretty good topic, is co-parenting, and I think these are topics that we're going to continue to tackle on our show every week,
because they need to be talked about.
Yeah,
I feel like women need advice about it, or just to get like a perspective, because I know I don't get that many perspective of different women that are co-parenting, you know?
Yeah,
I feel like I just get judged, and I'm not like, I don't get to discuss it with them.
You know? I think that's a hard thing too. Just co-parenting means that you're a single parent, and being a single parent means that you have a whole other set of crap that you have to deal with. Like, We talked to a mom last week that said that she had a hard time at play groups.
Right, that she was getting like blacklisted.
Women didn't want her around their man. I'm like, are you confused about your own marriage right now? Because I feel like if you're stressed out about some other chick being around your husband.
Which is true. I was like, oh my God, I can completely relate to that. I can completely relate to that with some of the moms that, you know, Coco goes to school and the parents, you know, of kind of being blacklisted or kind of being like, ooh, that's the single mom. Like, yeah.
See, so and I was never in a relationship like that. My husband would be like, oh, fashion show at Keith and Allie's house. Like, he would literally show up at the bar and it'd be like 5 chicks. He'd be like, I'm the only guy with 5 chicks. Like, he liked that. So, I don't know. I'm not really a jealous type. So, I wouldn't be that person, but I guess I don't understand why women are like that. I don't
understand it either.
We need to change that. We need to make Straight Outta Motherhood a play group for all the other kind of moms.
Right, the rejects.
This is a play group for the rejects. You know what I mean?
If they don't let you come and play in their group, come and play in ours.
You can be singles.
Right, you can drink. Well, don't get too drunk, but you can have a glass of cup of wine.
You can day drink or night drink.
That's fine.
You can do whatever the heck you want because you're a mom.
Yeah.
You know, you're making stuff happen.
Exactly.
Every day, even when you don't want to. You wake up in the morning. Unlike men who can just kind of wing it.
Right.
You know, we always just have to have a plan. So, well, tune in to us till next week, right? Because you know, all us moms will have other things to talk about. Don't forget to stay sane, mamas.
Yeah, and fake it till you make it, because that's the only way.
That's right. We'll see you next week. Talk to you later.
For more information, check out straightoutofmotherhood.com. And for more information on how you can be a guest, send an email to straightoutofmotherhood.com.